guys about another makeup look. I'm actually really loving how my look turned out today as opposed to yesterday, and I really like how my hair looks today. So we're having a good makeup and hair day, so that's good. So I just primed my eyes with my usual primer, which is the ColourPop Party Proof Primer, and then used my Dewdrop Lip Oil and my Pretty Fresh powder to set my eyes. It's pretty much the same thing every time, unless I'm working. Then I'll use like my Anastasia eye primer and like a different powder. And then for my eyeshadow today, I decided to go in with the Malibu Barbie palette because I haven't used this one in a while. This one's from ColourPop, obviously. Because I was actually going to go in with the Flirty Talk palette today by ColourPop, but it's a lot warmer than I thought it was going to be today, and the like shirt hoodie kind of thing that I picked out earlier was kind of like going to be too hot today because it's almost 78 degrees today, so I just decided to wear a t-shirt. So for my makeup look, I used the shade Let's Go Party in the crease. Then I darkened up the crease more with SoCal, and then I used Zuma Beach on the outer corners. And then for the lid, I just used the shade Come On, which is a really pretty gold. And then for my inner corners, I used the shade Cali Girl, and that's all I used from the palette. And it just looks so pretty and punchy, so I really like how it turned out. And then for my brow bone, I just used my usual Blanc type. And then for the waterline, I used the ColourPop Cream Gel Liner in the shade Peach Fuzz. You guys know how much I've been loving that one from ColourPop. And then I just used my Essence Lash Boost Volume Booster Lash Primer. And then I used the ColourPop Level Up Mascara on the top and bottom lashes because I just haven't used that in a little while. And then for my face, I wanted a glowy base today because it's pretty warm, so I just used my Do It spray from Fourth Ray Beauty, and then I used the Say Star Glow, I can never say this name, Glowy Super Gel Star Glow Primer. So I, of course, wanted to use that because, I wanted something more glowy. And then for my tinted moisturizer today, I went in with my favorite, which is the Tower 28 Sunny Days Broad Spectrum SPF 30 Tinted Sunscreen in the shade 05 Fairfax. And then for my concealer, I used the e.l.f. Hydrating Camo Concealer in the shade Fair Warm. And then for my setting powder, I used the Haus Labs Bio Blurring Loose Setting Powder. And then I just used the ColourPop Pretty Fresh Powder in the shade Fair 1. And then for my bronzer, I used the Milani Baked Bronzer. This is the Baked Bronzer in the shade Dolce. This has been a favorite of mine for a long time, so I just wanted to use it today because I used the ColourPop one. I just rhymed too. Favorite of mine for a long time, I just rhymed. And then for blush, everything else is right in front of me. For blush, I used the ColourPop pressed powder blush from the Into Bloom collection, I believe it was, in the shade Cherish. It's just a really pretty peachy blush, and I thought it went perfectly with this look. I just put like a few ColourPop blushes in front of me recently, and I just have been wanting to use those certain ones again. And then for my highlighter, I used the coinciding highlighter from the Barbie collection, and this is the shade Beach Party. It's a gorgeous, like, lighter tone gold shade, but it's just so pretty, so I decided to use that. I haven't used this in a long time because I haven't even used the palette, I don't think, since, like, months ago. I don't really use this palette until, like, spring, summertime. So I used it, but the product comes off so easily. So, I mean, it's not like that big of a deal because I'll just end up using this, but it kind of makes it a bit like cruddy and like harder to pick up when it does that. So like this one, like a lot of people complained about the packaging with this because it was kind of faulty packaging, but whatever. It's still a beautiful product. That was already like 2 years ago, so what am I going to do about it now? And then I just set my face again with the Do It spray, and then I just used my ColourPop Brow Boss Gel to set my brows. And then for my lips, I went in with the Lip Duo set from the Barbie collection as well. This is the Golden Beach Lip Duo. And they're both in the same shade. So I used Golden Beach in the lip liner and Golden Beach in the lipstick. And this one is one of my favorite nude shades from ColourPop because it's just like peachy enough to go with this look, but it also has a bit of pink in it, but it's more like a peachy pink. So yeah, that's it. So I'm gonna go because I need to get to my boyfriend's house. My mom actually just left for her trip today. Why was I gonna say yesterday? She left this morning. It was early in the morning, so why am I thinking it was yesterday already? But yeah, so I will see you guys for another look tomorrow. I don't even know if this is a start of a new video or if it's continuing on in the same one, but either way, I'll make a new intro like tomorrow or something if it is a new one. So yeah, bye. Okay, so hey there guys. So I just want to tell you guys about another look. And I need to make an intro for the next video, or just I started the next video yesterday because that was the start of a new week. So I'm actually not like filming these looks in order. So yeah, so I really like how this look turned out, and it's with a palette that I know that you guys know that I wasn't really that crazy about, but let's just tell you guys my makeup look. So I used the Anastasia eye primer, of course, because I did work today, and then I used my Dewdrop lip oil, and then I just set my face and my eyes with the Urban Decay Stay Naked powder. I'll just tell you guys that now because I don't have to say the powder again later. And then for my eye look, I decided to go in with the Alice in Wonderland palette from ColourPop. I actually pulled out a different palette last night, but then it occurred to me today that I was like, you know what? Most of the colors that I wanted to use from the other palette are in this one. So I was like, maybe I should just use this one and give it another go. So I did decide to use this one instead. So I used this matte, and this matte. So I used this one, Talking Flowers, in the crease. Then I darkened up the crease more with a different shade from another palette that I'll tell you guys in a minute, because I originally went in with the green to do the defining shade, but I didn't really like how it looked that much because this green isn't really that dark. I mean, this one. So I decided to go in with just a darker pink shade from another palette. And then I finally ended up using the black shade on my outer corners, and it's actually a pretty nice black. And then for my lid, I went in with the shade Lose Something, which is a really pretty, honestly, I am so impressed with the shimmers in this palette because they last so long and they really don't crease. And honestly, the staying power of the mattes are pretty impressive for them to be this light, because they're so pale that they don't even work for me sometimes. But I'm surprised that they lasted. Like, honestly, it looks just as good as when I first applied the shadows today. So I'm pretty surprised. And then for my brow bone, I just went in with Blanc Type as usual by MAC. And then for my lower lash line, I went in with that green shade so I could pick up some of the green in the dress that I'm wearing on the lower lash line, because I just thought it looked better on the lower lash line than on the crease. And then for the inner corners, I went in with Very Merry on Birthday. I'm sorry, I'm just very tired because I didn't really sleep that great last night. So that is everything that I used from the palette. So I've used 4 of the shimmers so far. I've just been so uninspired to use this, but I do really like how this look turned out. And then for that other pink shade, I just took this palette that was in front of me because I was originally going to use it yesterday, but I just needed a deepening pink shade. I'm probably going to use this tomorrow. I just kept it out because it ended up being way too hot for me to use this yesterday. And I'm pretty sure I told you guys that yesterday. I ended up using the Malibu Barbie palette. So I just took this pink shade to define in the crease. So I just took Your Fave from the Flirty Talk palette because I do want to use this palette more. So I'm definitely going to use this tomorrow. So that's my eye look. And then I did use the ColourPop cream gel liner in the shade Aglow because I wanted to pick up a little bit more of that green on the lower lash line, and it looked really pretty. And then for my lashes, Let me just drop my mirror. I just went in with my Essence Lash Primer and my Lash Discovery by Maybelline on the lower lash line. And then for my mascara, I just used the Fenty Beauty Hella Thick. I just don't have to think about it when I use that. So I just went in with that. And then to prime, I just used my usual primer, which I don't even know where it is right now. I just used my e.l.f. Can I speak today? The Do It spray from Fourth Ray Beauty, and then the e.l.f. Power Grip primer. But my face is starting to look pretty dry around this area, but I think that's mostly the concealer, because like all around here the foundation still looks great, but I've just been struggling with some dryness around my nose area and around my mouth lately, so that might just be my skin. And then for my foundation, I just went in with one of my all-time favorites, which is the Very Valentino. And this one's in the shade Light R2, and I love this foundation, and I didn't get to use it this week. So you guys are going to usually see this foundation in every single everyday makeup look, because I always use it for work at least once a week. And then for my concealer, I went in with the Urban Decay Stay Naked Quickie Concealer in the shade 10NN. I'm still really enjoying this concealer. It still looks pretty good. That's literally the only concealer I've liked that I've tried that's high-end, because I love Urban Decay's concealers and I really like Tarte's concealers too. I ended up returning the Valentino concealer and exchanging it for the LYS one, because I was thinking about getting that one over the Valentino one, because I ended up not liking the Valentino one, so I'm excited to try the other one. I went and exchanged it today. And then for my setting powder, I just used the Pat McGrath Labs powder in the shade Light Medium 2. And then, like I said, I used the Urban Decay Stay Naked powder to set the rest of my face. And then for my bronzer, I just went in with the Pat McGrath Labs bronzer in the shade Naked Desire. I am really enjoying this bronzer. I really, really like it. I've used it a ton so far, and it's just such an easy bronzer to use. And then for my blush and highlight, I went in with this older Too Faced Natural Face Palette. Honestly, this was the last good makeup product that Too Faced came out with, and this was pretty much the last product that I bought from Too Faced until I stopped supporting them. But I really loved this palette, and it's a really good palette, so I wanted to use just the blush and highlight today. So I used the shade Pink Sand, and then I just went in with a tiny little bit of the Pink Wink shade just to get a little bit more pink, and I thought it looked so pretty. And then for the highlight, I just mixed the two highlight shades together, which are Starlight and Satin Sheets. The highlight is still there. It still looks pretty good, so I'm kind of impressed, because this is an old palette, but the packaging is so beautiful on this. And then I just set my face with the Milk Makeup Spray, and then I just used my e.l.f. Wow Brow in my brows. And then for my lips, I used the shade Brink from ColourPop for my lip liner. And then I went in with the ColourPop Harry Potter Luxe Velvet Lipstick in the shade, I'm pretty sure this one's called Hermione, H. Granger. I haven't used this one in a while, and I thought it looked pretty with the the dress that I'm wearing, and I kind of liked it with the eyes too, because it's kind of like a nudish pink, but it's not like as pink as what I would usually go for, but I think it worked with this look. So yeah, that is it, you guys, and I will see you guys for another look tomorrow, which I'm probably going to use the Flirty Talk palette. Bye! Okay, so hey there, guys. So I wanted to tell you what's on my face today for another look. I kind of need to go a little bit fast because I need to get out of the house. So I just primed my eyes with my ColourPop Party Proof Primer and used my Dewdrop Lip Oil and the Pretty Fresh powder to set it. And then for my palette today, I wanted to use the Nomad Feet Stay Provence palette because I got this new yellow t-shirt from Lucky. So I wanted to do like a yellowy, peachy look. So I decided to use like these shades. So I used like these 6 shades. So I went in with this shade first. Honestly, I'm going to butcher the names completely because they're all like French names. So I'm just going to point to them. So I used like this pastel yellow in the crease. Then I darkened up the crease more with this corally shade. And then for the outer corners, I used the shade Macarons. That's the only shade I know how to pronounce. So I used it out here. And then for the lid, I went in with my favorite shade from the palette, which is called Navettes. And it's a really pretty like peachy toned shimmer. And then I just went in with Blanc Type to highlight the brow bone. And then for the lower lash line, I went in with this like marigold yellow. And this one is called Mille de Lavande. Terrible. And then for the inner corners, I went in with the yellow shimmer, which is called Fleur de Mimosa. And I really love how this look turned out. It looks so pretty. So I'm glad I was able to finally dip back into this palette again. And now I've used all the shades twice in here. So I'm just trying to rotate some of my spring palettes that I want to use. And then for my eyes, like eyeliner and stuff, if I could grab it, I used the Peach Fuzz Cream Gel Liner from ColourPop. I just use this one a lot, and I knew that I wanted to use it with this look because I knew it would be perfect. And then for my mascara, I went in with, I don't even know why I put it back. I could have just left it out. I don't even know where I put it now. Where did it go? Oh, here it is. For my mascara, I went in with a sample size of the Rare Beauty Perfect Strokes Universal Volumizing Mascara. I got this yesterday because I went and exchanged the Valentino concealer that I got from the sale because I honestly wasn't really feeling it. I've tried it a few times and I didn't like it, but I'm wearing the new concealer that I got today. And then I just used the Essence Lash Primer and the Maybelline Lash Discovery on the bottom lashes. And then for my face, I just used the Do It Spray as usual. And then I went in with the Say Primer, the Star Glow Glowy Super Gel Primer. Y'all know how much I love this. I just wanted a really glowy complexion today. And then I went in with the Makeup by Mario foundation in the shade 1C. I really have been enjoying this foundation a lot. I think this is like the fifth time I've worn it, and it's just such an easy lightweight foundation to wear, especially on like super summery spring days because for some reason it's like super warm out again. And then for my concealer, I picked up the LYS why do I keep on wanting to say Triple Fix concealer. This is the full coverage brightening concealer. Can I get this out of the packaging? Oh my god. And this is the shade LG3, which I think is a good shade for me. It blended in beautifully, and it's not like too yellow at all. This is like the second lightest shade because they didn't have the lightest shade in store, because in my Sephora they don't have the full LYS line. So, and then for my setting powder, I just used the Rare Beauty one because I wanted to use that to test out a new concealer, because the Haus Labs one isn't really that great for setting down concealer that well. And then I just used the Pretty Fresh powder to set my face. And then for bronzer, I used the Milani Dolce bronzer because I still wanted that glowy complexion, so I just went in with that. And then for my blush, I just went in with the Giorgio Armani blush in the shade 30. And this is such a pretty corally blush for this look, so I wanted to use that. And I also wanted to use like some of the newer products that I got from Sephora from the sale on camera, so I did film this look. And then for my highlight, I haven't used this highlighter on camera yet. This is the Cali Ray Beach Gleamy Hybrid Feels Highlighter in the shade Moonlight Beach. Such a pretty gold, so I wanted to use that. And then I just set my face with the Do It Spray again, and then just set my brows with the ColourPop Brow Boss Gel. And then for my lips, I just went in with the ColourPop Lippy Stick in the shade Cookie, because it's just an easy, like, peachy nude, and that's it. So I'll see you guys for another look tomorrow. Bye. Okay, so hey there, guys. I want to tell you guys about another look. And today is Mother's Day, so for anybody that celebrates, please have a fun Mother's Day. For the mothers that are still here and the mothers that are no longer with us, I hope you have a very happy Mother's Day. So for my eyes, I just used the ColourPop Party Proof Primer as per usual, and the Dewdrop Lip Oil from ColourPop, of course, and the Pretty Fresh powder to set my eyes. And then for my eyeshadow, I decided to go in with the Sigma New Mod palette. I haven't used this in a little while, and since I was wearing this like Sun Moon shirt, Sunny Moon from Lucky, I wanted to go with like a berry toned eye look today, and I thought that this palette was perfect. Sorry, like I don't know why It blinds you guys so much. I guess I'm gonna have to speak English. Okay, I can hold it like that. That should be fine. So for my crease, I went in with the shade New Mod, which is the signature shade in the palette, and then I used the shade Voguish to darken up the crease. And then originally I wanted to take this shade on the outer corners, but it was kind of a little bit too, it was nice, but it wasn't quite dark enough to add the definition that I wanted and like the deepness. So I went in with the dark brown, which is called Grunge. And then for the brow bone, I used Preppy. And then for the inner corners, I used the shade Glam. So that is everything that I used from the palette. I was originally going to use Avant Garde on the inner corners, but I kind of wanted to just bring in a bit of the gold that's in the like writing in the shirt and in the sun. So that's why I wanted to use the gold. And I think it looked really pretty. I mean, I could pretty much use any shade from this palette and it would go really well with the shirt, but I'm glad about the shades I decided to use. And then for my liner, I really need to organize this next to me because it's driving me bonkers. I just used the ColourPop Cream Gel Liner in the shade Charmer on my waterline. And then I didn't feel like smudging anything today. And then for my mascara, I just used the ColourPop Act Natural Mascara. That is the brown. And then I just used the Maybelline Lash Discovery on my lower lash line. And then for my face, I just primed with my usual Do It spray. And then I used my NYX Marshmallow Primer for my primer today, because I've been using the Say primer a lot. So and then I wanted to go in with my NYX Bear With Me Tinted Skin Veil in the shade Pale Light, which I believe is the lightest shade. And then for my concealer, I wanted to go in with the LYS concealer again because I really have been liking it, so I wanted to use it today too. And this one is the shade LG3, so I just used that. I'm not sure if I'm crazy about my highlight today. I don't know. I'll tell you guys what I used in a minute. And then I just set my under eyes and everything with the Becca Hydra Mist Set and Refresh Powder. And then I just set my face with my ColourPop Pretty Fresh Powder. God almighty, I just don't know why my brain doesn't work with my mouth sometimes. And then for my bronzer, I just used the ColourPop Matte Bronzer in the shade Alviva Beach. And then for my cheeks, I went in with a cream blush today. I used the Fenty Beauty Freestyle Cream Blush in the shade Fenty Glow. I did want to use a cream blush today, but for some reason, like, I couldn't get this to build up that well. It looks good, but I'm not, like, obsessed with it, but it looks okay. It's passable. But then for my highlight today, I wanted to go back in with the Rare Beauty highlighter in the shade Mesmerize because I've only used it once and this is the second time I'm using it, and for some reason, like, I'm not as crazy about this shade of the Rare Beauty highlighters than I am with the like lighter shades that I have. For some reason, like, this one kind of makes my cheeks look a bit more texturized than they actually are. So this is only the second time I'm using it, and it doesn't really like glide onto the skin as easily as the other two shades do. I still think it looks really pretty, but like, I don't know, it's not like amazing on my cheeks like the other two are, because like the other two are just like super blinding, super like easy to use. So I'm not really sure why this one isn't as like effortless. I don't know. I'm gonna have to keep on using it and let you guys know, but I'm not like obsessed with it. And then for my brows, I just used the ColourPop Brow Bust Gel and just set my face again with the Do It spray. And then for my lips, I just went in with the Tower 28 Juice Bomb Tinted Lip Balm in the shade Shake. These were actually two products I was going to use tomorrow, but I'll just use two other things tomorrow. But I have to go and get a Mother's Day gift for my mom. And then I just have to run a couple of errands, and then we're just going to have sushi later, so I'm going to go pick it up later. So I do have some things to do today, nothing that crazy. because my mom was in North Carolina the past couple of days, so she comes back tonight because she was there for my sister's graduation. So yeah, that's it. I will see you guys tomorrow. Bye. Okay, so hey guys, so I want to tell you about another look for my Everyday Makeup Lookbook. So I decided to do a pink look today, and I think I've been telling you guys I've been wanting to do this look for a while with a certain palette. So I just primed my eyes with my ColourPop Party Proof Primer, and then I just used the Dewdrop Lip Oil and the Pretty Fresh Powder to set that as per usual. And then for my eyes, I went in with the ColourPop Flirty Talk palette. I actually haven't used ColourPop in like a couple of days, so not since Friday, so it's only been 2 days, but I did use the Alice palette the last time I used ColourPop. So I've been wanting to go back into this palette for a little while, so I think this is like the 8th time that I've used this palette this year. And I really, really like how this turned out. The eyeshadows just, the mattes blend so easily in this palette, and they're so pigmented. I just wish that there was a little bit more contrast in this palette, but as far as like the formula goes in this palette, it is really, really good. And I do find that the lasting power on this palette is really, really good. Like when I get home, it's probably going to be as intense as it looks now, because every time I do wear this palette, it looks really good. So I've kind of been growing, this palette has really been growing on me, and I really do like it. So for my crease, I went in with Your Fave first, and then I defined, I went in with Talk to Me first, then I darkened up the crease more with Your Fave, and then I used the shade Heart Emoji on the outer corners. And then for the lid, I went in with the shade Blushin', which is just a really pretty kind of red-based pink, and it is really, really pretty. And then for the brow bone, I went in with On Your Mind. And I do also like that since there are lighter tone mattes in this palette, you don't really have to go into any other palette. So I do like that this is pretty much a one-stop shop palette for me, because it's not like the Alice palette where I have like everything in front of me that I don't really have to dip into another one. The same thing with the Snow White palette does have like light enough mattes for me to use on my brow bone, so I don't have to go into another palette. So and then for the lower lash line, I went in with Talk to Me, and I just smudged that a little bit. And then for the inner corners, I went in with the shade Cuddle Up, which is a really pretty like blue-based pinky shimmer. It's so pretty. So yeah, that's what I used in this palette today. I was thinking about doing a red look with this palette at some point as well. I'm not sure when I'm going to be able to get to that though, because you know, I have a lot of palettes, so I got to rotate what I can. And then I went in with the LA Girl liner in the white shade. I really do like this liner. It's really, really nice. So this is the perfect precision eyeliner in the shade Arctic White. And then for the primer, I just went in with the Essence Lash Primer. And then for my mascara, I went in with the Rare Beauty Perfect Strokes Universal Volumizing Mascara again. This is just a little sample. And every time I use this mascara, I always forget how good it is. So I just wanted to use that again. And then I just went in with the Maybelline Lash Discovery on the lower lashes. And then for my face, I just used my Do It spray. And then I went in with the Say Star Glow Glowy Super Gel Primer. I always read that backwards. I don't know why. And then for my base, I used the Rare Beauty Positive Light Tinted Moisturizer Broad Spectrum SPF 20 Sunscreen in the shade 10N. And then I cannot put this concealer down, so I used the LYS concealer again. This is the Triple Fix Full Coverage Brightening Concealer. This concealer is so good, you guys. I understand the hype around this concealer now. It's just so beautiful underneath the eyes, and it's not really too full coverage at all. I'm looking at myself in the mirror, and it just looks so good. Like, it's just such an easy concealer. Like, it doesn't like give mask like full like coverage. It just looks so beautiful, and it has such a creamy consistency, and it just blends out beautifully underneath the eyes, and it blends out in like 2 seconds. I have been loving this concealer, and I think it lasts really well as well. So I really like this concealer so far. So like I said, I have the shade and LG3. Well, I didn't say it today, but I've been using it the past couple days. And then for my powder, I wanted to go in with the Haus Labs Bio Blurring Loose Setting Powder in the shade Translucent. I've been testing out this concealer with different powders in my collection, and I haven't used it with this one today, and it looks pretty good with it. So I really, really like this concealer so far. And then for the rest of my face, I just set it with the Pretty Fresh powder. And then for my bronzer, I went in with my ColourPop bronzer. I can't even remember if I used this yesterday or not. I probably did, but I just decided to use it again today because I was like, I just want to use it anyway. So I just went in with this guy. I love this bronzer, as you all know. And I'm also trying to hit pan on it, but it's not like it's a chore because I love it so much. It's really like my most used bronzer in my collection right now and throughout this year. And then for my blush, it's a little bit light on me. I don't know. The past like 2 days, it's just been a little bit harder for me to get the pigment to show up on my cheeks because like yesterday when I used the Fenty Beauty blush, it didn't really show up that pigmented. So today I went in with this blush from MAC. This is the highlight powder in the shade Fleur Real. It's supposed to be like a multi-purpose powder, so it's supposed to be like you can use it as a like under eye brightener, or you can use it as like kind of, you know, around the areas of like your perimeters of your face, or you can use it as a blush or a highlighter. I like using it as a blush, but like it's not really that pigmented because it has such a powdery consistency because it's kind of like a multi-purpose powder, but it's pretty. And then for my highlight, I went in with the Urban Decay Afterglow 8-Hour Powder Highlighter in the shade Aura. And this one is really pretty. It has like a duochrome, like lilac-y pinky finish, and it's really pretty, so I wanted to use that. It's also been sitting in front of me for like a couple of weeks to use again, so I finally did. And then I just set my face again with the Do It spray, and then I just set my brows with the ColourPop Brow Boss Gel. And then for my lips, I just went in with the coinciding lippy that goes with the Flirty Talk collection. And this is the ColourPop Glowing Lip in the shade Candy Kisses. And it's just such a pretty, like, pinky, sheer, glowy lippy. So, yeah, that's it. I don't think there was anything else I needed to say. So I'll see you guys tomorrow for another look. Bye. Okay, so hey there, guys. So I wanted to tell you about another look for my lookbook video. Let me just turn up the volume a little bit. There we go. So for today, I did work today, and I decided I wanted to do a blue look. So I whipped out some other palettes that I haven't really used in a little while. I mean, I only used 2 palettes, but because I only used 1 shade from the other palette. So anyway, I just primed my eyes with the Anastasia eye primer, and then I just used my ColourPop Dewdrop lip oil, and then I just set my face and my eyes with the Urban Decay Stay Naked powder in the shade 10NN. And then for my eyes today, I went in with 2 Oden's Eye palettes. The first one is the Oden's Eye and the Fancy Face, the Hummingbird palette, and I used 4 shades from this palette, and then the other palette I only used 1 shade. So I mostly used these 4 blue shades because I really wanted to use those. Also, like, I haven't really given this palette enough love, so I was like, you know what, I'm gonna use this today because I was trying to figure out what palette I wanted to use today to do a blue look, and I was like, you know what, this one is perfect. So I went in with clear blue first, and then I just defined the crease and darkened it up a bit more with 1 shade from the, I don't know why I'm holding it backwards, from the Giant Wolves palette from Annette's Makeup Corner and Oden's Eye, which is from the same collection. And I just used this matte blue shade called Azure because it's such a gorgeous, like, super poppy blue. So I just used that to define the crease. And then for the outer corners, I used the shade Lagoon from this palette. And then for the lid, I used the shade Blue Fields. And it's such a beautiful, like, royal blue shimmer. It's so gorgeous. It does transfer a little bit, so I did get a little bit up here, but it just looks so beautiful that I don't care because it's just a gorgeous shade, and it's not like it fades off the lid in any way. Like, it's still just as pigmented. is when I put it on. Like sometimes I'll get like a lot of transfer with like super sparkly shades like the ones in the Blend Bunny palette. So, and then for the inner corners I went in with the shade Tropics. Oh my god, I'm tired. And that's what I used from the palette. And then for the waterline I went in with Prance by ColourPop. One of the cream gel liners. It's still not like, I don't know. I probably should have went in with the turquoise. It still looked really pretty though. So it's just like not really that pigmented enough for me. So I don't know. I still can't get on the gel liner bandwagon. I don't think they're that great. And then for, what did I wear for mascara? Oh, I'm pretty sure, did I use this one? I think I went in with the Wet n Wild Big Papa. I think that's what I used. Yeah, I used this one. And then I just went in with the Maybelline Lash Discovery and then the Essence Lash Primer, of course, on my top lashes. And then for my base, I used the Fourth Ray Beauty Spray and then the e.l.f. Power Grip Primer. And then for my foundation, I went in with my Haus Labs Triclone Skin Tech Foundation in the shade 050 Fair Cool. I still really like this foundation, so I wanted to use it today. And then for my concealer, I went in with an oldie but a goodie. This is the L'Oreal Paris Infallible Full Wear More Than Concealer in the shade Porcelain 320. I haven't used this concealer in a while, and honestly, it just started not looking that great now. But it held up pretty well at work. But it just started to like not look that great now. But like honestly at work my face looked a lot better. It's like just starting to not look great at this point. But also like I had a little bit of blue eyeshadow underneath my eye, so I kept on trying to like correct that at work by like kind of like smudging it with my fingers. And I just like put on some more concealer now, so that might be why it's not looking that great. So it's not the concealer, because the concealer looked really good before I went to work and when I was at work. And then I just set my eyes, my under eyes, I mean, with my Pat McGrath Labs powder. And then I just set my face again with the Urban Decay powder. And then for my bronzer, I went in with the Haus Labs bronzer in the shade Light Level 1 because I love this bronzer. And since I used the foundation, I wanted to go in with a couple of Haus Labs products. And then for my blush, I went in with the Haus Labs blush in the shade Pomelo Peach. It's just a really beautiful peachy blush. I love it. And y'all know I love peach with blue. I always wear a peach blush when I do a blue eyeshadow look because I just love how it looks together, and blue and orange are complementary colors. And then I pretty much learned that with the Frosted Flakes collection, which is so funny because I went in with the Kellogg's Frosted Flakes highlighter by Glamlight, and it's such a gorgeous highlight. So I haven't used it in a hot minute, so I wanted to use it today, and it's just so beautiful. And then I just set my face with the Milk Makeup Spray as per usual. And then I just went in with my e.l.f. Wow Brow to set my brows. My brows looked pretty good today, actually. And then for the lips, I went in with the ColourPop lip liner in the shade Minute Man. And then I went in with a older lipstick. I don't know how I feel about this lipstick now, though. I had to reapply it like 3 times at work. And now I'm kind of getting a bit of a rim here. I don't know. It looked really pretty when I first put it on, but then like throughout my work shift, it just kind of started developing that ring, but whatever. So this is the NARS Air Matte Lip Color in the shade All Yours. It's just a really pretty like peachy lippy, and I haven't worn it in so long, so I was like, you know what, I want to wear this today. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this look. But the reason why I was saying about the Frosted Flakes collection is because like obviously Tony the Tiger and Frosted Flakes, the colors are blue and orange, and that was the color scheme of that whole palette. So like I kind of like always put peach with blue, like if I do a blue look. So yeah, I'll see you guys for another look tomorrow. I might end this video here though, because I'm not sure if this is the last look for this video, but I will let you guys know that tomorrow. So bye. Okay, so hey there guys, I want to tell you about my looks yesterday and today. I'm going to insert a picture of my look yesterday. I just didn't have time to film the clip of me telling you guys what I was wearing yesterday, so I'll tell you guys now. Because I got home pretty late last night, like at 1 a.m. and then all I wanted to do was take my makeup off, and when I was getting ready, I just didn't have time to film the clip before I left. So I just primed my eyes with my Anastasia eye primer, the usual, and then I just used the Urban Decay Stay Naked powder to set that, and my Dewdrop lip oil. And then for my eyes, I used the Kaleidos Club Nebula palette. This is actually a different palette than what I was intending to use yesterday, but my plans kind of changed a little bit. So I decided to wear this palette with the shirt that I was wearing yesterday, and I thought it looked so pretty. And also I haven't used this palette in so long, so I'm so happy I decided to whip it out yesterday, because I was intending on whipping it out this week. I just wasn't sure when, and I was so happy I was able to use it yesterday. So for my crease, I used the shade Naru, which is like a really pretty, cool, very cool toned, like taupey color. And then I darkened up the crease more with Rock Hopper, and this is like the perfect shade to go with that shirt that I was wearing in the picture yesterday. Or I might just show like a video of like a clip of me filming it on Instagram. And then I darkened up the outer corners with the shade Cylon, which is such a pretty like purpley color. And then for the lid shade, I went in with You're My Only Hope, and this is like a gorgeous like lavender shimmery shade. It's so pretty. And then for my lower lash line, I just smudged a little bit of Rock Hopper on the lower lash line. And then for the inner corners, I went in with Nova, and this is such a stunning like pinky lavender shimmer. It's so pretty on the inner corners, and that's everything that I used from the palette, and I loved how the look turned out. And then of course I just popped Blanc Type on the brow bone. That's what I'm wearing today too. And then for my face, I just used my e.l.f. Power Grip Primer and the Do It Spray to prime my face. And then I used my Tried and True Valentino Very Valentino sunscreen, and this one's in the shade Light R2. And then I just used my Tried and True concealer, which is the Tarte Power Flex concealer in the shade Porcelain Sand 8S. And then I just set my under eyes and everything with my Pat McGrath Labs powder. And then for the rest of my face, I just used the Urban Decay Stay Naked powder again in the shade 10NN. And then for my bronzer, I used the Pat McGrath Labs bronzer in the shade Naked Desire. I just am really enjoying this bronzer, so I just wanted to use that. And then for my blush, I decided to go in with like a cool tone, pinky purpley shade, so I used my Kat Von D blush. I don't know how I'm going to be able to open half of these things right now because I just got my nails done. And this is the shade Rosebud. This is one of my all-time favorite blushes. I got turned on to these because of Debbie, and she loves that blush, so I love it too. It's an amazing formula. And then for my highlighter, I kind of wanted to use a couple of my Glamlight highlighters the past couple of days, so I used the Michaela and Glamlight pressed highlighter. And this one's such a pretty, like, frosty, whitish, goldish, almost lavender. It's so beautiful on the cheeks. I'm not a huge fan of Michaela, but this is a beautiful highlighter, and I did like her at the time of this release, but not really anymore. And then I just set my face with my Milk Makeup Spray. What did I use for eyeliner? And I forgot to mention my eyeliner and mascara. For eyeliner, I wanted to just really define it with black, so I just used my Makeup by Mario liner in the shade Super Black, and then I just used my Gwen Stefani Can't Stop Staring mascara for my mascara, and then my Maybelline Lash Discovery and my Essence Lash Primer. And then for my lips, I used the lip liner from Essence, the Soft Contouring Lip Liner in the shade Sucker for Gray. This is a really beautiful, like, cool tone liner. And then for my lips, I couldn't really find anything that was too like purpley, so I decided to go in with like a pinky-ish purple. And this is the ColourPop Fresh Kiss lip cream in the shade Baby Spice, which is after my favorite Spice Girl. And it looked really pretty, so I just went with that. So that was my look yesterday. And then for my look today, I primed my eyes with the ColourPop Super Party Proof Primer, and then just used the Dewdrop Lip Oil again, and then just set my eyes with the ColourPop Pretty Fresh Powder. And then for the palette that I used, I wanted to use ColourPop because it's been 2 days since I've used ColourPop Call the Presses, because I just don't like not using ColourPop for more than like 2 days at a time. So I just wanted to go in with one of my favorite palettes from ColourPop. So I used the Back to Hogwarts palette. And I just wanted to do like an easy neutral look today because I just had a doctor's appointment and then I got my nails done and I just got home like 10 minutes ago. So for my eyes today, I just used most of the neutral shades. So I just went in with Whomping Willow in the crease, and then I darkened up the crease more with Mandrake, and then I just used Great Hall on the outer corners. And then for the lid, I just wanted to use the gold, so I went in with Golden Snitch. And then I just, like I said, used Blanc Type on the brow bone. And then I used Floating Candles and a tiny bit of Loomis on the inner corners. And that's it for the look. That's all I used today. I just love how easy and simple this palette is to use. It just blends so easily, and it just is a breeze to use. And I never have to worry about how my eye look is going to look because I always know it's going to look good. So I really love this palette. And then for my liner, I just used, where else? The brown liner from LA Girl in the shade brown. And then I just went in with my lengthening mascara by ColourPop on the top and bottom lashes, because I was kind of like in a rush at that point because I wanted to get to my appointment on time. So I just used that on the top and bottom lashes, and then just used my Essence Lash Primer as per usual. And then for my face, I primed with the Do It Spray and my NYX Marshmallow Primer, and then I used the Tower 28 Sunny Days Broad Spectrum SPF 30 Tinted Sunscreen. I have to use this at least once a week. I love it so much, and I'm trying to use it up. So I think I'm almost there, but this is like my all-time favorite tinted moisturizer. It just looks amazing on the skin. And then for my concealer, I just used my Maybelline Instant Age Rewind in the shade 095 Cool Ivory. And then I just set my under eyes and everything with my Becca Set and Refresh powder. I'm trying to use this up, so I wanted to put it back in front of me. I'm almost done with it, so I try to use it when I can. And then I just set my face with the ColourPop Pretty Fresh powder. I'm trying to just use up products that I know that I would be able to use up. I'm not like trying to stress myself out about using up products. I just know like I can use up a setting powder or like hit pan on a bronzer or use up a tinted moisturizer. Like those are things I know that I'll probably eventually use up at some point. And then for my bronzer, I went in with an oldie but a goodie. I used the ColourPop bronzer in the shade, I think it's called Private Party. This one I've had for a long time, and I was like, you know what, I haven't used it in a while, so I really wanted to use it today. And then for my blush, I just went in with one of my go-to blushes. I just used the shade Lunar Has It from the Kathleen Lights and ColourPop blushes. These are like my all-time favorite blushes from ColourPop. So I have the 4 shades from the collection in the Z palette, so I just used that. And then for my highlight, I wanted to use, where did I put it? So I used this Marc Jacobs Cherry highlighter. This is the shade 79 Glitzy. And this is like a really beautiful like minty green compact, and it's like this true gold shade, but it's a little bit dark for my skin tone, so it didn't really look that great. It was just a little bit dark, so I decided to go over it with this Cindy Grace highlighter because this was just in front of me and I just didn't have time to dig something else out. And this is the shade Golden Wonder, and I just popped that over it. And that definitely lightened it up more and kind of like gave it more of that goldish, light gold kind of color rather than like that super dark color. That's still really pretty. It's just a little bit dark for my skin tone. And then I just set my face again with the Do It spray. And then I just did the Brow Boss Gel by ColourPop in my brows yesterday. I just used the e.l.f. Wow Brow. And then for my lips, I went in with the ColourPop Luxe lipstick in the shade Appy just because just wanted to throw on something that I know I really like. And that's everything. So yeah, I will see you guys for the next look tomorrow.